Hi, this is Adam. This is another Eye on North Carolina blog. We are here in Durham, North Carolina at the Carrboro Coffee Roasters. Really excited to be here being a coffee fan. Today is one of their workshops where they talk about the different brewing methodologies. And there's three of them: the air pot, the French press, and the Chemex. And all three have different ways of going about brewing the coffee. And as you will notice, each taste will come out differently. And we're going to talk to Reiko, who's going to tell us more about all the different tastes and how they get to from point A to point B. Okay, Reiko's going to describe the different methodologies and kind of jump into what we're about to taste today.
Alright, so we tasted three different methods today. We did something that we're used to seeing in a coffee shop, which is a batch brew, or something that we brew in great volume using a paper filter into a storage container like an air pot. So we tasted that as something as a base reference. And what we noticed with that is that it tends to be a little bit thinner. It's still very flavorful, especially with the coffee that we chose today, the Macuchilla from Guatemala. Very bright, citrusy, kind of tangerine, honey, sweetness to it. But then we brewed it in a Chemex, which uses a paper filter, kind of like this. It's kind of a thicker ply than what we use for the air pot or the batch brew. So it kind of suspends the water back a little bit longer. So the coffee and the water sit together for a longer dwell time. And then as it drips down, that paper catches the oils and allows to filter that coffee into the bottom part of the vessel, and it leads to a really nice, crisper, cleaner cup of coffee. It's still got a nice body to it because that water is sitting with the coffee for some time compared to the air pot where it's kind of drawing down at a faster rate. So the Chemex paper filter kind of slows down that draw down a little bit more, so that's why you get more body. But then you hit the French press, and it doesn't use a paper filter, it uses a wire mesh filter to it. And that allows everything in the coffee to come through, the oils, the flavor, everything. And it almost has a little bit of a silty, kind of gritty body to it, but that oil, you can definitely feel it kind of coat your mouth. So the biggest differences that you will find between the three different methods that we chose today are that the body texture. You get a full, rich, hearty body out of the French press, whereas you get a lighter, thinner, almost tea-like with certain coffees with the air pot.
Right, with the French press, there's so much going on when you taste it. You can't really describe right away what you're feeling because there's so many elements that weren't filtered or sifted out.
Right, and if you enjoy coffee for the flavor and that cleaner feel to it, the Chemex is the way to go. It allows for all that dimension to kind of really stand out. It really distinguishes the cup of coffee, whereas in a French press that might sort of get muddled because of that bigger body. So for folks that really want to enjoy the cup of coffee and experience it for what it is and what it's unique for, the Chemex is the way to go.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for giving us a quick synopsis of the different methodologies for brewing coffee, and I recommend everyone coming over to Carrboro Coffee Roasters. They have so many great options for coffee enthusiasts such as myself to come on by.
First out, we decided that we'll try out the space when the Southeastern Regional Barista Champion or Barista Competition was hosted upstairs in the Cotton Room. So we're trying it out, and we're also using it as an additional training space for folks that can't make it to our Carrboro facility. So welcome, this is great. I really like the turnout. So my name is Reiko. I have been with Carrboro Coffee not very long, actually. Scott and I had worked together previously. I used to buy coffee at Southern Season, and that's how we kind of connected. And then he kind of roped me in earlier this year to help run this place. So you'll find me here pretty much Monday through Friday, and then helping Josh, who is also doing a lot of the education and kind of training for a lot of our clients. So anything you want to add to that?
So yeah, I'm Josh. Thank you guys for coming. Yeah, we're going to have a good time today. So today we are doing a brew methods workshop that will sort of compare and contrast different brew methods. There's a fun way to discover different things about one particular coffee. And we have a really special coffee from a farm that we actually have a direct relationship with. So we are actually on site on the farm. Scott Connery, our owner, goes and visits the farm himself. So this is a farm in Guatemala. We're going to talk a lot more about that, but they do a lot of great experimenting to try to give us really interesting flavor profiles, and this is the unveiling of La Cuchilla. So it's a very special coffee. Yeah.
Could you pass that?
Yeah.
How you spell for these?
Oh, no problem. Yeah.
So, just as Josh just mentioned, we're going to be talking about the different brewing methods and how it transforms this particular coffee with each of the methods. So, we've chosen 3 different ones, and we'll talk about those here in just a minute. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try and identify and understand what the distinctions are between these methods, what changes in the body texture, how does it feel, and what's the mouth feel? Is it thick, is it thin? What does it do with the smell, the taste, all those factors as far as what changes, what's different between this one single coffee when it's brewed 3 different ways. So, we'll talk a little bit more about the coffee itself. It's from Santa Felisa Estate. Great coffee you see here in the picture. It says orange honey, and this is a particular processing method that I've researched. Acatenango and Fuego are pictured in that photograph. So Guatemala, which is where this coffee comes from, literally stands for Land of Eternal Spring. And when I was doing some research as far as the climate and the temperature and all that year-round, it's somewhere in the 60s to 70s. So it's wonderful spring-like weather there year-round, so hence the name. So the altitude, if you want a reference point, is about like western North Carolina, so not quite 5,000 feet. So it's not that high compared to like Ethiopia, where you can see altitude as high as 13,000 feet. Coffee thrives in higher altitudes, and very lush and green you see here in the valley. So that's a little bit of background as far as the coffee in particular.
Here's the French press. Before you push it down.
Coffee is, since the filter is holding back the water in the grounds a little bit more effectively, you're going to have more what we call dwell time. So when the coffee is sitting with the water for a long period of time, or for almost the entire brew process, rather than passing straight through it. An extreme case of that would be the French press, where it literally stays in there the entire time. The dwell time is the entire brew process. You're going to get a thicker body. So maybe a more syrupy body, but just a thicker body. So that's one way that the Chemex can affect the taste of whatever brew you're brewing. People also will describe coffee that's brewed through a paper filter as a clean cup of coffee, which is distinguished from the French press. Because with the French press, if you guys have had that before, a lot passes through that big mesh metal filter. A lot of the oils and a lot of the sediment from the coffee is allowed to pass through that. So not the case with this, very, very thick Chemex filter. So you get a cleaner cup.
We're waiting on Josh to finish up. What